Live your questions now, and you will live along some distant day into your answers. That's what Rilke says in his letters, which I treasure as if they were addressed to me. Too much time has been wasted trying to know if it will all work out. The answer is it will, or it won't. But I must keep seeking anyway.
Benji?
What?
Is the Morse Alpha to starboard?
I don't know.
Can't see it. It's fine. It says here in the guidebook that the snug anchorage behind the spit is indicated on chart 4308. That must be the spit. Chart 4308. Do you have that chart? We don't have that chart. Okay. Remind me again why we're trying to see an iceberg.
1,600 miles, 30 days of rain, and 1 case of ramen. This isn't what I had expected.
I'm excited to get away from land, away from students and exams and grading papers.
Yeah, that's why I thought it'd be good to sleep on the boat tonight, because then it'll get us in the mood. Or more like make us realize it's really happening.
For tonight, mostly clear with a low of 67. Sunshine Saturday on.
Because the weather looks good so far.
Wind gusting up to 20.
I enjoy my job. Some teachers begin looking forward to summer by October, but I still enjoy teaching marine science well into May. But everybody has a someday to dream about. For me, someday, I want to be a writer. I enjoy the melody made by placing one word after another, or before, or by blending them together and creating a new word alloy, a walloy, or an allard. Anyway, I learn more about life by writing about it than I do by just living it. My purpose is to keep looking for experiences that will call me to write. My dad has always dreamed about sailing. And so when I was very young, he would tuck my sisters and I in bed at night and teach us one new sailing term each night. And then when I was 8 years old, he bought a sailboat, a Ranger 23, and we named it Apple Rush. My mom and my dad and my 2 sisters and I crammed ourselves into that little sailboat and spent our summer sailing on it.
Okay, if you push the tiller that way, this is the tiller.
Okay, where's the wind, first of all?
The wind is over there.
All right.
That point arrow.
So you want to watch the jib, and you want to head the boat up into the wind until it lost just a little bit and then fall off. That's right where you stay. All right?
Okay.
All right?
He taught me a lot on the Apple Rush. And then when I was 18, I started working as a sailor and as a sailing instructor.
We just looked at our sails and trimmed them as best as we could.
And then I became a licensed captain and worked for Outward Bound. Outward Bound is a wilderness challenge program that uses the sea and other elements as their teaching tool for creating leaders.
But in general, once you generally know you're right around here, right?
Yeah.
Every day improving their sailing skills and improving their skills as a person. And there's no other job that I've ever worked at that facilitates that.
Crazy as a loon. Payday comes, he's howling at the moon.
After I worked for Outward Bound for a few years, I finally felt ready and confident to buy my own boat. And everywhere I sailed, everywhere I went, I met all sorts of sailors. And they were all surprised that I was sailing by myself. But I wasn't sailing by myself. I had Dory. But never, during that whole time, never did I meet another solo female sailor. But I did meet Ben. And we've been sailing together ever since. For 2 years, we sailed together on 2 separate boats. For this trip, we decided to sail together aboard his boat, Elizabeth, for the first time.
You know, when I came here, I was like, oh, I'm going to be here a few years, and I have a little apartment that's unfurnished. I should put some furniture in it. But I am getting rid of tons of stuff. Like, we're taking a load to Goodwill right now.
Voyaging on a boat is a good metaphor for the voyage of life in general. Stowage space aboard a small sailboat is minimal, thereby distilling down possessions to only the most important. Things that break easily, have no useful purpose, or have to be carefully handled are left behind. The same principle that applies to possessions also applies to relationships and activities. Therefore, clearing out the meaningless hustle and bustle and living only with the most enriching endeavors.
Good morning, Benji.
Good morning.
Kitty.
All right, where's the list?
Okay, it's 9:10. You want to leave at noon. We gotta go to West Marine, get an eye hook, get some head stuff, go to the bank, go to the post office, get fuel, get water, pump out, and get fishing gear. And the shopping, oh god. We get groceries, that's gonna take a while. We want to leave at noon, we get less than 3 hours.
Our plan is to sail as far north as we can until we see an iceberg.
Okay.
We really want to see an iceberg, and it's iceberg season right now, but I
Okay.
just finished the year off being a school teacher. Graduation was yesterday, so we're leaving as soon as we can.
Our plan is to depart at noon for a shakedown sail, anchor for one night, and then sail non-stop until we see an iceberg.
For a lot of people, when we're near water, a lot of the chatter goes away. a lot of the busyness goes away. Our brain gets to relax, and when we feel that feeling of relaxation, we activate a different part of our brain. When people are trying to untangle a knot in their lives, oftentimes they'll go and do it by the water. When they want to tell somebody that they love them with all of their heart, they tell them by the water.
I started sailing because I ran away with a sailor. But in the beginning, I was actually looking for a sailboat when I met Larry, only because I was tired of university types and serious people, and I thought I'd like to meet people who were doing something different.
My inspiration to first go cruising was when I was 14 years old and I read Robin Graham's book, Sailing Around the World Alone. It was a coffee table book for kids. When I was 14 years old, I knew that I was going to sail around the world, and it was just a matter of how I got there.
We built a boat to go around the world and took off from Louisiana with a 1-year-old and Terry pregnant.
My plan was just to sail to Hawaii and back because I didn't have much money. I thought I could do that. I could go back and get my job back afterwards. And I got to Hawaii and I met a young couple who had just come from the Marquesas. And they said, "You have to go to the Marquesas. You absolutely cannot turn around and go back to Seattle and go back to your job. You have to have this adventure." And so I said, okay.
And when you look at that blue horizon, you can't help but your mind goes off.
For once, being in control, deciding your own destiny.
Once you're kind of out on the water every day, it begins to get into your blood and there's no going back. I always had a little boat, like a 12-foot boat, and I got a 16-foot motorboat. I liked going out there and making a living on the water. I loved clamming. So I went off to college and studied marine biology, and then someone told me about this program, Sea Semester, where you could go on a schooner and study marine biology. Went on that semester and just fell in love with the sailing part of it. I wanted to keep on sailing. I asked them what to do, and they said, go to Maine. So I drove up there after school and just walked around the docks looking for boats and asking if there was any openings. And pretty quickly, I found one, actually.
On board the Spirit of Massachusetts. Oh, there they are. We're in the Bight on Norman Island. The crew is hardly working.
Generator is off. You know, the Clams was very small. It's the harbor. It's very contained. And this was, the whole world was open to you. You could travel almost anywhere, just with the power of the wind.
When we actually head offshore, I put away my handbag, I put away my list. What I've got with me is what there is, and all we're thinking about is the boat, taking care of it, where we're going, and then we have time for our minds to just completely unwind.
The minute we left the breakwater to leave, everything I worried about vanished. Once you were underway and sailing and you had the kids in their pajamas on the foredeck and we were waving goodbye to Grandma and Grandpa, life became more beautiful.
All right, we'll give it a shot, eh?
What are you fishing for?
I have no idea. This would be like striped bass and bluefish, I guess. Whoa, there it goes. We gotta get the fighting chair set up here. Whoa.
Did you catch something?
I don't know, I felt something. We hear this noise, that means we got a fish on. And it's set pretty loose. I guess that's a loose drag. There we are. That's it. Fishing.
Elizabeth is a 28-foot Bristol Channel cutter designed by Lyle Hess. She is the boat I've dreamed about ever since I went sailing on that first schooner. It is the epitome of efficiency in a small space. It can store a lot of gear. It is a fast sailing boat for its size. It has a large sail plan for great light weather, light wind sailing. It has an easy-to-reduce rig for heavy weather sailing.
She's got 2 solar panels and a wind generator for self-sufficiency. But she doesn't have any of that extra nonsense that gets in the way of these modern boats. There's no running water, and there's no water heater. There's no air conditioning or washing machine. It's everything you need, but it's only what you need.
She's named the Elizabeth after my mom. My mom passed away a few years before I bought the boat. And she was always real supportive of most anything I did, and I knew she would be supportive of this dream and living my dreams this way. And I wanted to bring her with me. So I named the boat after her.
Reel him in, Benji. Reel him in. I can't slow the boat down.
Well, you have to.
I'll move your leg. Awesome. You can see it?
Sweet. We gotta like deal with the sails and stuff. That didn't take long. This thing was totally worth it.
Bring him in. I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Steer the boat, Benji. Benji, the sails. It's hard.
It is kind of
Turn. Ooh, he is fighting. And he's winning a little bit. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh my god.
It's just right there.
Holy cow, it's not little.
Okay,
now what do you do? You're supposed to turn the camera so they guys quickly.
Aww.
Oh, Benji.
I think that's what I read.
Oh my gosh, Benji. Oh gosh.
Ooh, I don't like doing that. I don't know if I like fishing anymore.
Okay.
I did have to sample it to make sure it was going to be edible. But I think
it's huge.
Yeah, I know. I think it puffed up. But it looks good. It smells good, right?
It does smell good. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to see your reaction. Don't eat the skin, I don't think. I mean, you probably can. But it's like flaky. I don't think it's that bad at all.
It's okay. I'll eat it.
Sailing's a way to get to these amazing places and have my home. Living on a boat forces you to be much more conscious of your environment and of your impact on the world.
I can tell when the current changes. I can tell when I'm approaching land. I know what's happening with the depth of the water because I can feel it, because I never am away from the elements.
Northwest winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming northeast overnight. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Friday, north winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming west overnight. Seas 2 to 3 feet.
The sailing world is really male-dominated. People assume that I'm the captain and I'm teaching Teresa how to sail. But that's just not true. She's got more sailing experience than I do, and she's sailed longer than I have, and she is very skilled, but people don't think she is because she's a woman. Ready.
Definitely building a little bit right now. In a good way, though. I mean, that's going to make us go faster. We're getting 6 there?
No, we're at 4.9 knots.
What? Seriously? What did it say now?
5.3.
That's my girl.
What's your girl? Are you talking about Elizabeth or me?
Yes, Elizabeth.
Oh. When we do an offshore passage, we sail nonstop, day and night, 24 hours a day, until we make landfall at our destination. Well, you have to have a plan for sailing nonstop because you have to take turns keeping watch over the boat. You can't just sail all through the night without having somebody awake. Okay, what's the watch rotation?
Well, 3 on, 3 off.
Right, and we're going to do sunset, nighttime, and sunrise watch.
9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6.
9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6. I like that. Now, sail changes and stuff in the middle of the night, how do you want to go about that? I feel like when you're on watch at night and you're the only one out here, you wear your harness and tether all the time. I do want you to wear your tether.
When?
When you're the only one up here.
Oh, definitely.
Promise?
Promise.
And then
swear. What?
You promised before, and I caught you not wearing your...
before. What's pinky?
What are you swearing?
I forget. What am I swearing?
Come on. What are you swearing?
To wear my harness when I'm all alone up here.
And tether.
Oh, yeah, and tether.
Right.
Ben and I settled more into the routine of eat, sleep, stand watch over and over. Blending the days together where I no longer remembered if I had oatmeal for breakfast or if it was for lunch or if I forgot to eat altogether. My grandfather says that only boring people get bored. I sit and stare at the horizon for a long time. Someone has to do it.
The one thing that is solid on a boat is the watch schedule. The watch schedule is almost sacred. Those 4 hours that you're in the cockpit on watch are precious, but those 4 hours that you're down below, or 3 hours or 2 hours, are more precious. If the watch schedule breaks down, the passage breaks down.
It's weighing you down.
I'm beat. We're getting enough sleep. 3 hours on, 3 hours off. But then there's periods of no sleep. And then there's sleep where I'm like braced against the side of the boat so I don't roll out of my bunk. I feel like I've had like one good day where the breeze was decent enough to move us along, yet calm enough to be comfortable to go fishing and sleep, and just one day. We should have went to the Bahamas. Instead, we're bound for an iceberg. We're idiots. I don't understand.
One thing's for sure, though, we're making good power on the wind generator. Can't complain on that.
And you're right, isn't it? Can we be on watch?
Yeah. Well, No. And then I'm going to be on at 6 again. I've been on all afternoon because you've been doing your thing.
Yeah, but
When
you
do I
said
get a
that was
break?
okay. We're both on. Do you want? I'll do it. It's my watch.
All right, we're going to Halifax. No big deal. I got it.
We're going to drop anchor before sunset.
I hope. We'll make best possible speed for Halifax.
Benji,
Chris.
it's my watch. I'll be on watch.
No, you can write. I'm cool with it.
Just don't get upset.
Well, I just
You can
forgot.
just ask me nicely.
I forgot. I know.
I let you sleep in on your watch.
I know. I had a sudden realization that it was your watch all afternoon and I was on.
We're both on. We're both up.
The first 3 days of any passage is always a transition. Your body goes through a transition period from being diurnal to being sort of semi-nocturnal, and your sleep pattern changes from whatever the watch system is you're using. And it takes a while for your system to get used to that. And usually it's the morning of the third day is when everybody wakes up and goes, oh, we're here now. We've arrived. We've got over that big threshold. We're used to our sleep pattern. And then from 3 days on until forever, you can do that as long as you're not battling really bad heavy weather and having a breakup of the sleep pattern.
When a storm strikes, it's not like living on land where you can go into your house and shut the door. When a storm hits, you have to be out and working in it.
The deal with storms is that you have no choice. You have to go out in it. I get anxious about it. I act quickly and hastily, sometimes not efficiently. There's so many things going through my mind, but the main thing is getting the sails down and getting them lashed up tight and secured. I don't want anything getting swept overboard. Just going back for something in a storm and waves and wind, it's nearly impossible.
The worst part of the storm is actually the anticipation of it. Because I'm wondering how bad it's going to get. How big the waves are going to get. How strong the wind is going to blow. And then I'm wondering if Ben and I can handle it.
I get nervous about what might happen. Am I doing enough to prepare? How long can we endure it? I don't know. All I know is that We prepare for the worst. We hunker down. And we wait.
Actually, most of the times the anticipation is really worse than the actual storm. Time passes differently at sea. Events come and go. Breaking news happens, and it's old news by the time I hear about it. And I expect life on land to be the exact same as when I left it. On land, there's so many distractions. The real challenge is to not forget those ideals and those thoughts that I explored at sea.
You can't just sail out there endlessly. Unfortunately, we got to make money. And for me, I knew I wanted to travel and explore. So I taught myself web design.
Ever since I moved aboard a boat and started this voyaging lifestyle, every few months I've had to stop and find a job. I've been a waitress, a sailmaker, a dance teacher, a steward, a charter boat captain. The longest job I've had was a one-year teaching position. I'd like to find a job that I love, like writing, but one where I can also maintain this lifestyle.
We're leaving tomorrow. There's supposed to be a storm tonight, so we can't.
Guys, help yourself.
I appreciate it so much. That's awesome.
It's my job to handle life and death situations on a daily basis. It's what I do. I know very good. Your favorite
My eyes.
What?
My eyes.
We just haven't seen TV in a while.
I haven't seen TV in a while. It's just totally attracting my eyes.
Moving pictures. Look at all that.
And what we hope to document is the disintegration of this ice shelf behind me that has many cracks, and there's a lot of surface melting going on.
At 80 kilometers long and 16 kilometers wide, Petermann Glacier is the largest floating glacier in the Northern Hemisphere. The glacier is about to lose a 100 square kilometer ice island. With Arctic temperatures continuing to rise, large ice islands are breaking off glaciers like Petermann. The effect is like taking a cork from a bottle. With nothing to hold back the ice sheet, more frozen fresh water can pour into the sea and contribute to global sea level rise.
I'd never seen an iceberg. I wanted to see one for the same reason that people go to see the Grand Canyon. Because it's this big, beautiful, natural, spectacular thing. I expected it to be like a shooting star, to make a wish on and enjoy for a moment. And then it disappears, leaving nothing but a memory. But what I learned is that when ice falls into the ocean, the whole world feels it.
All icebergs come from glaciers. That does not mean that all ice comes from glaciers. There's also sea ice that forms on the surface of the ocean if the temperatures are too cold. The really thick and hard ice, the icebergs towering kind of like hundreds of meters above the surface and sometimes thousands of feet below the surface, all come from glaciers around Greenland. Think of tar or honey. How do you spread honey on your bread? So if you pour it, it will spread out very, very slowly. What does the pouring, to pour more honey on top of it, that really is it snows.
Every year it snows over Greenland, and so your ice volume effectively increases. In some areas, it's over 3 miles deep. In the summer, some of the snowfall that is turned into ice will melt, but also an ice sheet is moving, sort of accumulate in the interior, and it pushes the ice down. And so if you stood next to a mountain glacier or even a glacier in Greenland, if you stay there for long enough, or if you put a time-lapse camera and take pictures every 10 minutes, you'll actually see the ice moving, and you can hear it crackling. And when the glaciers meet the ocean, what happens is the ocean can melt the underside of the ice, but also big pieces can fall off.
It has to break off because eventually the honey will drop off your piece of bread.
And then the ocean takes it away.
First along the coast of Greenland towards the north, and then it turns at the northern edges of Baffin Bay and then comes down south to close that counterclockwise loop along Baffin Island and then Labrador. But all these icebergs that spawn from Greenland, almost all of them, end up pretty much off Newfoundland because of the ocean circulation.
We're heading into the bay.
Is that good?
Well, I'm thinking we might get a little break from the wave action. The waves aren't that bad, but I thought it might be fun to go in here anyway. Things we're making 6.5 knots.
When you're sleeping underway and there's waves, you tend to grip, and my arms get sore because I hold on for dear life.
Yeah. It's like a little workout.
In your sleep.
Yeah, imagine that. No one else gets a workout in their sleep. This place is beautiful. And it smells good.
Because we have to do a morning dip, and the lakes are warm.
Oh, yeah.
And a bath in the ocean. Yeah, 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 yeah. Woo, woo, woo.
Brother. Just need a new belt on that.
Why didn't we get a belt when we were at that auto park?
I have a belt, but
you just need to put it on.
just seems like it's been wearing down, and now it's at the point where it's going to need to be changed. We're going to have to listen for a snapping sound.
Benji, we need to fix that then. We can't just have it snapping randomly.
Well, why don't we just go duck in behind this island where it's a little less windy?
Right here?
And drop an anchor, yeah.
I think living on a sailboat teaches you, especially living on my own sailboat and taking care of it myself,
It teaches you to be self-reliant and to jump into things that you'd never think you could do. And for me, when I bought my boat, it was repairing the engine. I never thought I could do that, but at one point I had to. I had a bent connecting rod and I had to put a new one in. It's very uncomfortable down here. My tummy hurts from lying on it like this. I have to hold my breath. But the cleaning part's not too bad. Taking all this this garbage off the top of the fire deck. I didn't have the money to hire someone, and I didn't want to hire someone. I wanted to do it on my own. I learned a lot about the different parts of the engine by doing that, just to replace one piece.
You know, you're very busy doing the stuff you have to do. You're maintaining the boat, you're preparing food, you're cleaning up, you're stitching sails, there's an endless list. And the old thing we always have said on our boats, that if you don't fix 3 things today, you'll have that many more things to fix tomorrow.
There is no substitute for self-reliance. No toolkit, insurance plan, or lifetime guarantee equals the value of learning new skills. Living on a boat has taught me to be not only a sailor, but also a seamstress, a cook, a mechanic, scientist, electrician, and a carpenter all at once.
Yeah. Oh, yeah!
Okay.
I think when you're on a mission, people are more likely to help you reach your goal, especially if it's something that's interesting to them. So to say that we're trying to find an iceberg, people are very eager to tell us what they know about where we can find icebergs.
Daily iceberg bulletin. Would that be of interest to you?
Yeah.
Didn't they stop that? In
Belle Isle Bank, 50 to 100 icebergs. Strait of Belle Isle, 26 to 50 icebergs. That's what's there today.
Now, wait a minute. When they say icebergs, are they talking about like growlers or bird eaters, or are they talking about icebergs?
Probably everything.
Okay.
Probably everything.
Because we have a parameter. We don't see an iceberg until we see one that's at least the size of our boat.
There is no other community where people are at once isolated and deeply connected than that of the mariner. The community will disperse when the wind is fair, but come stormy skies or foul water, we gather together in a snug harbor to make merry, while giving a silent nod to the common bond that brought us together.
When you're standing at the edge of the water, looking out on just water, a lot of the stimulation that we experience all day, every day, even at night, while we're on land, is gone. So there's no traffic, there are no roads, there are no other people. You're just looking at the water, which gives your brain a little bit of a break. It allows your brain to rest in a way, but your brain doesn't go to sleep. It activates a completely different part of your brain. It's called the default mode network. That's what we feel. That's what we crave when we pay for a waterfront view while we're on vacation, or when we want to go for a walk on the beach or step onto a sailboat for months. You kind of crave that part of your brain. So the default mode network turns on, and you become insightful, self-referential, and creative even.
Every time I get on the water, I'm inspired to write. There is no place that matches the beauty and the inspiration as what I can find in the ocean.
One says that time slows down at sea. And cliched or not, it's really true. Time matters out there. Your time, your allotment is so intense and so real. Even if nothing's going on, what do you do all day out at sea? You know, you live.
Just off of St. George's Bay.
Cool. So what's our course?
What?
What's our course?
I think it's like 095. You almost ready?
Yeah. Anything else to report?
Nothing else to report, but it might be getting foggy. And will you promise to wake me up if you ever have to leave the cockpit?
Yeah. Promise.
Teresa!
What?
It's getting hairy up here. I need you to get up. I just don't know which way it's going. I need to know which way it's going.
Well, let me look. It's just right on top of us on the radar.
Okay. Am I with the fire extinguishers?
What?
You know where the fire extinguishers are?
It's freaking me out.
We're in the heart of it now.
I'm scared. You okay? That lightning is under at the same time?
Okay, that's good.
We're moving through it.
Okay.
We both get seasick, and seasickness is the absolute worst. It's worse than the flu. And it makes me want to crawl into a corner and never come out. But we made a promise to each other that we would always stay on our watches. We've kept that promise to each other.
I don't feel like I have to prove myself to anyone. But the reason I continue to put myself through these challenging situations, the cold and the ice and the wet and the fatigue, the reason I continue to do this is because in the end I come out of it feeling more strong and more capable and more alive. Now I know why we've only seen 4 other sailors up here. It's like 90% of the time I wish I was not doing it. But I just gotta do that 10%. That's awesome.
Feel that? Are we hitting this too much on the beam? It could be overpowered.
Put this away. Okay, let me just talk this through with you first because I don't want to fall overboard.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go up there. The mainsail halyard's on the right side. Am I gonna leave the preventer on?
Yeah, just drop the main.
All right.
Just get the sail down.
Here I go. Are you coming out here? No.
No.
All right, here I go. Down. My hands are numb. My hands, like, they stopped working, you know?
Yeah.
I had a hard time, what did I have a hard time with? I don't know, something. Okay, this feels much better.
Yep.
Already. Thank God. Well, now that the sail's down, I can sit out here and read a book. Pass me Farley Moet. Icebergs are a hazard to navigation because they're not charted. Oddly enough, while most fishermen are trying to avoid icebergs, they're exactly what I'm seeking.
Couple of days, we need to find an iceberg.
Oh, he's going to find an iceberg. We passed a big 10 coming in there.
I know.
What was it, 5 mile? What's it, Chris?
No,
10 miles.
30 miles.
30 miles, was it? No,
15 miles out, that's it?
So we're gonna see some
They're
then.
further east now, so
we'll see them.
I say they're probably
Oh, that's a nice
5 miles
fish, too.
further
Whoa.
east. What they were.
Oh, okay, so they're moving east.
Yeah.
And that's where you saw icebergs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause we record it in post here.
You do report it?
Norseman area.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's the ambassador reporting system, they call it. When we look at the iceberg maps, they say satellite and then ambassador, I guess, and that's
They
you
just
guys.
called nearest coast here, like Rocinante here.
Yeah.
Iceberg reported, national line.
So and then they publish that list. So they publish your information. So
Yeah,
I could
and-
find it online, probably.
We just I got the coordinates for that.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay, and this is 5445. Gotcha.
Wow. It's big.
No, this is like a bunch of them. This is like
Oh, okay.
they're
okay.
coming down in a bunch.
All right.
And this is so. Can I keep this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, good. That's awesome.
If it keeps going north, I think you'll find that big one is down there. I guess you've heard of that
Yeah,
one.
we've heard of it. Yeah.
That's massive. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big. It's pretty big.
Well, we passed one there last night. Jeez, we must have been a couple miles.
Oh yeah. Not too far out.
Oh, that was what 12 o'clock last night. It was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's 40 miles for sure.
Still 40 miles. Okay. And foggy, right?
Oh, well, that's 3 trips that we've been at. 3 weeks. It had cleared up about 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay. Well, that's no good.
You had fog for 3 weeks and 2 hours only clear.
Yeah.
Cleared.
Well, that's bad news. As we get up here, I think we're going to need to just keep an eye on the radar and radio any ships we see and see if they have seen any icebergs in their travels and try to get a position, last known position of an iceberg if they took it down. But it's going to be radar at night, keeping a good eye on the horizon during the day and talking to ships. That will be our main means for finding icebergs.
Securite, securite, securite. All concerned parties, this is the sail vessel Elizabeth. Traveling 4.6 knots on a course of 063. Our location is north 5117, west 5648. All concerned parties, please respond on 16. This is the sail vessel Elizabeth, standing by 16.
So I'm a physical oceanographer. I've been working around Greenland and the high latitude North Atlantic for a long time, mostly studying ocean circulation in cold places, somewhere where the ice meets the water. We make measurements while we're there, but we also leave instruments in the water so that we don't just get a summer snapshot. We can actually get an idea of what goes on throughout the year. We want to make predictions so that policymakers and governments and people can make decisions about the future. And the way we do this is with models. And these models contain, our best knowledge of how all these things come together, the ice, the ocean, the atmosphere.
It's always insightful to have more data because you get the uncertainty down, and that's kind of like a steady debate. Oh yeah, but you're never certain of anything. No, we never will be. We can't be certain if the sun will be setting tomorrow. The main conclusion is the mass balance of Greenland is negative, meaning that there's less ice than there was 10 or 15 years ago. The big deal about Petermann is that that's about the amount of break-off that usually should take about 40 or 50 years. Has that happened before? As far as I know, over the last 150 years, no, it hasn't happened before.
Remind me again why we're trying to see an iceberg.
I think it's to be determined whether it's worth it or not when we get there.
Yeah. The fog is starting to clear. I can see all of that land over there.
I have heard it said that it is the journey and not the destination that counts. But how many miles must we sail before we realize a journey has been had and the iceberg no longer matters?
And there it is, in real life. I can't get over it.
I saw 2 Bergie bits. I think we should get the Bergie bit and put it on the boat.
Wow, Bergie bit.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because the center of that is ancient ice from hundreds of years ago.
True.
And then we can melt it and we can have like ancient ice water.
Here you go, Tisserie.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you can get one of those.
I can get one of these little ones. Now this bucket has been used for many things.
So what's the big deal? Yeah, what are we gonna do with it?
I have chucked in this.
Well, I have shit in there. Well, we're not gonna eat this Bergie bit, are we?
And now it's going to be used for our drinking ice.
It's gonna be salty.
No, it won't. It's fresh water. It's all fresh water. Ah! This is like a carnival game.
Did you get one?
No!
It's hard to get. And it's slippery. And it's hitting the boat.
This is harder than a carnival game. Wait a minute.
Easy.
Just hold still. I almost got one. I got one!
You got the littlest one out there.
So? There it is. Iceberg. See, it's not salty. Salt water doesn't freeze like this.
No, you're right.
Fresh water, well, it can do a number of things. First of all, it can freeze easier than salt water can. And so we all know that, if we put ice cubes in the freezer and bring it down to 0 Celsius, you can get ice. But if you do that with seawater, you're not going to get any ice. Seawater, because it has salt, freezes at lower temperatures.
Amazing.
What are you amazed about?
I thought it'd be salty.
Should we just move on by this iceberg and go find our next one? Or should we get in the dinghy and row over to it?
We might not have such a calm day.
Today is a calm day.
So it might be a good idea to row over to it.
It might be a good idea to row over to it.
thought it was neat just to see you in your little boat going over there. You were like a scientist that had to go. I was like, it's dangerous, and you were like, I have to go.
I was. You were trying to hold me back, and finally I was like, I'm going now.
As we were coming up to it, I was like, there's something on top of it. I see something on top of it.
The gulls?
Yeah, it turned out to be the gulls.
And the little seal swimming around it. He hung out with that iceberg the whole time.
Yeah, I know I did.
And then, the part of the iceberg that was underneath the water was this really colorful turquoise. You know, the water's black and then this bright turquoise. It was eerie because the water was so black. But yeah, I could see down into this bright turquoise. All the bits that were in the water around me were crackling like Rice Krispies.
I know, I heard them.
They were sizzling and crackling.
We heard them too.
That was wild.
I thought it was rain at first, and then I realized it was just them cracking, melting.
When it started to roll over, that was wild.
It was?
It was loud.
Remember we were like, what's that noise?
As the piece underneath the water shrinks, it rolls over. So they capsize every now and then, and they'll continue to roll over until they've broken down into just nothing, you know, and melted away. Yeah. Or until they hit the Gulf Stream and then they melt
So I
really
think
quickly.
if it was bigger and it rolled over, that would have been a serious scene. I feel almost complete.
What do you need?
I'm still holding out for one bigger than the boat.
It all began with a quest. A curiosity, really. Can we find an iceberg? With every discovery, every answer, there unfolds a new uncertain question.
The one simple question for a cruiser like myself, or for a voyager, is how can you spend more time doing what you love to do? And how can you spend your life involved in making a living following your passions?
The simple question is it worth it to live an interesting life? And I know the answer.
Benji, it's beautiful!
Can you live with simplicity and still enjoy life?
How about here? Okay.
What do you do with your life? Do you want to acquire things? Or do you want to be well within yourself?
When we set sail, we weren't sure if we would find an iceberg. There was no guarantee. Our journey is kind of like writing. No guarantees. Any dream worth chasing is full of uncertainty. And that's the scary part. Being content isn't enough for me. I'll forever be burdened a dreamer.
What you believe in is irrelevant. All the religions, all the beliefs work. What makes it work is not what you believe in, is the act of believing, the act of surrendering yourself to a higher power and doing what you should the best you can, and the rest is not yours.
You really believe in me? Like you think that that I'd be good at it, or that I'd finish this book and it'd be good?
Yeah. I think you need to try, don't you think?
I do think I need to try.
You can't, otherwise, you have to try. If it's what you want to do, you have to try. If it's what you have to do what you dream about doing. If you don't, there's no point in living.
"90% of people who say they want to write a book never actually sit down and write chapter 1. There can be no excuses. For my next journey, I will fix my inner compass on an unexplored topic and sail forward, writing one word at a time. Will I become a writer? The answer is I will, or I won't. But I must keep trying anyway. I already knew that the Petermann Ice Island was this big, record-sized iceberg that had broken off of Greenland, an event that should only happen once in my lifetime, if that. When the Petermann was close enough to be featured in the local newspaper, I realized that I couldn't pass this opportunity. This would be something worth writing about.
I'm curious about this one that's coming.
Yeah.
This that was several kilometers. It says a Belle Isle.
Yeah, well, there's one off. The last reports that I got, it was off Grosswater Bay, which is the entrance going into Goose Bay. That's the biggest piece.
Still in Labrador?
Yeah.
Right, Goose Bay?
It's estimated to be somewhere around 62 square kilometers.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. So that would be roughly, 6 kilometers by 10 kilometers. Give it some perspective, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big piece of ice.
Yeah.
That's the biggest fragment, I guess. I don't like using the word fragment because that sounds little, but when you consider it was 250 square kilometers when it left last August, it's been breaking up, throughout their journey. So now you got a whole bunch of big fragments that are remaining, And the most southern piece looks like it's almost here now off St. Anthony.
Okay, I got 90 feet out. There's 60 feet. Okay, she's off the bottom.
I have very little steerage with this one sail, and there's shoals right up there. So as soon as you get that staysail up, it'll be better. We just sailed off the anchor, and it was really nice. It says the term iceberg originates from the Dutch term Iceberg. I'm not Dutch, so I don't know how to say it. Which means ice hill. It takes an iceberg about 2 to 3 years to reach the island of Newfoundland from Greenland, a distance of 1,800 nautical miles. Wow. 2 to 3 years, Benji.
Yeah.
The big question is, will Petermann start flowing faster now that we've broken this piece off? If it does that, it will bring more ice, and then it will contribute to sea level.
Will this happen again? Probably not for the next 10 or 15 years, but I cannot be sure about that. Will it get worse? Hopefully not. Can it get worse? Definitely, yes. But what I think is the most important part is people that work and care about it. It's the human aspect of it.
It's very, very, very cool.
We need to connect people personally to nature, to the environment, to water, and make it part of who they are, part of their nostalgia, part of their favorite set of memories, people may be more likely to step up and protect it. Like, this is my bay, this is my river, this is my ocean, and I need it.
Well, I went to school for environmental resource management. So I studied and learned all about the degradation of the planet and global warming and all this doom and gloom. And I wanted to be a fighter for the environment. And I would say that I'm still in support of all of that, protecting the environment and making wise decisions that does protect the environment. However, the environment's changing, and before we lose it, we got to spend some time out in it.
Awake in the city, the smell of old money, and we're spinning our wheels while the world falls apart.
It's pretty damn good.
Into the distance,
I should swim to that rock.
I can
Rock that one?
see that a new day is calling for me. Into the water where you breathe, let me drown in your dreams while you sleep.
A lot of cruisers end up coming back to where they stepped off the merry-go-round and saying, wow, I don't want to step back on. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm not going to live in the intense, high-pressure city. And people end up in the most interesting place.
Je ne parle pas bien français.
Je ne parle pas bien français.
Pourriez-vous parler
Pourriez-vous
lentement?
parler plus lentement? Alouette! Alouette! Alouette!
Okay, can I have... Puis-je avoir? What? J'ai faim.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. J'ai soif?
I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
After sailing a few months to find this iceberg and experiencing all the challenges and that life again, that voyaging life, I feel like Ben and I both realized that that's really what we want to do and what we want to carry on.
Can we taste it?
Let's see. Raspberry.
Je n'ai besoin de rien, rien qu'un bout de pain pour accompagner mon fromage préféré. Un tel arôme, quand il est bien fait, ça ne séduit que le goût français. Critiquez-le, ça m'est égal. En attendant, je fais votre veille pour le camembert, le roi des fromages de la terre. Le roi des fromages de la terre, c'est clair. Le roi des fromages de la terre.
Seeing the iceberg doesn't mean the journey is over. Sure, I accomplished what I set out to do. I found my answer. But I learned something. Questions are more important than answers. The finality of answers is confining, but with questions, the whole world opens up. It's not important what the question is. What matters most is asking.
trouble under the sun. Sweating bullets at the gates of hell, but it's one hell of a story to tell. I've seen familiar faces, I'm perfect strangers. Seen some strange places and I face dangers. And I scraped my change for a while and bought lies with the teeth of a crooked smile. Then walked the crooked mile and worn down shoes down the golden vines and avenues. Tread softly in the city of broken dreams. It fell apart at the seams. I said that I might be down on luck. You better bet I'm keeping my chin up. One of my worries going to get me down. As long as I'm breathing, I'm moving round. Yeah. Round the world and back again. I'm not sure where to begin. One crooked mile in. Round the world and back again. Yeah. Round the world and back again. Now you can find me dead on my feet, wandering down the sunny side of the street. Shoot up, spit out, locked up, put down. Back to the middle, lost and found. And I've used the wish once or twice. I've laid my cards and rolled the dice. Been broken down, roadside, singing the blues. And 101 different hues. And that Spanish flag got the best of me. They found me in bed with the enemy. So I cleanse my soul and purge my sins. I'll probably do it again. I said that I might be down on luck. You better bet I'm keeping my chin up. One of my worries going to keep me down. As long as I'm breathing, I'm moving round. Alright.